Today's topic is what is the distinction between public finance and private finance? There are two types of finances. The individual finance can be termed as private finance. The finance of the government can be considered as public finance. Distinguish between private finance and public finance. What is the difference between the individual finance and the finance of the government? That is the topic. The first thing, private finance, the individual finance, private individual people's finance. Public finance, the finance of the government. Government expenditure and revenue comes under public finance. What is the difference between these two, private finance and public finance? First one, income determines the expenditure. The income of the individual decides the expenditure. He can't make expenditure more than his income. So income is an important key element that decides the expenditure of an individual. Whereas in the public finance, the public authority decides the expenditure of the government. So public authority, the government, state government is the authority, it decides how much to make the expenditure on various activities of the government. That is the first condition. Second one, private individuals mostly care for immediate benefits that is need. They are expecting an immediate benefit or use. But the state considers both short-run and long-run interests of the nation. So the immediate benefits are not here important, but it takes into consider both immediate as well as long-run benefits. The benefits and interests of the nation are important for the public finance. Third one, the scope for private individual borrowing is limited. Borrowing power of the private individuals is limited, whereas the state can raise loans from internally and externally. It can raise loans from World Bank as well as Reserve Bank of India. The state can raise loans from internally from the public as well as from the world organizations. So next point is surplus budget is good for private individual. Deficit budget may be desirable for the government. What is the difference between surplus and deficit? Here surplus means more income, less expenditure. Deficit means more expenditure, the expenditure is more than its income. Deficit budget. But the state government's public finance, the deficit budget may be desirable, whereas individuals, surplus budget is good for private individuals. If it goes for deficit, there are debt. So individuals can't use force to get their income. They can't raise their sources. But the government can use cohesive method to realize revenues, in the sense that it has the power to rise. It can force to rise its revenue by several methods. So public finance can rise the revenue, whereas private, there is no scope for rising or getting their income. No individual can print currency. Currency printing by an individual is a crime. No individual can print currency, but the government can print. It has the power to print currency. The state government, the government of country has the power to print currency. Currency printing power is in the hands of the government. So it can raise the revenue by printing currency. But no individual can print currency. Private finance is governed by market principle. The principle should be followed by the private individual is the market principle, demand and supply, market conditions, price, etc. The state public finance is governed by budget principles. Budget means government expenditure and revenue. The principles of budget. So there were several principles are there for budgeting the finance of the government. Now private people not consider the social cost, whereas the government should consider the social cost, the benefit, utilization of the society, how much it is useful while spending money. Government can take into consider the social cost, how much cost is there, how much benefit is derived from that expenditure should be considered by the government, whereas private people not consider the social cost, whereas the state consider the social cost. Last one, no scope to alter changes in the expenditure by an individual. Individual finance not allowed, or no scope for the individual to change, alter his expenditure. Where the government state can easily make big changes, alterations in its financial activities. So these are the differences. Basically, again we can observe what is the distinguish between public finance and private finance. It is private finance, this is public finance. Private finance meant for individual, private individual people. Public finance is the government finance. So these are the differences between private finance and the public finance.